Hi, my name is Tanya and I am here to tell you everything that you ever wanted to know about caring for chickens. If you're thinking about adding chickens to your family this spring, the first thing that you're going to want to do is check your city and county regulations. Every county has different rules regarding how many chickens you can have and how much space is required for each of your chickens. The next thing that you're going to need to do is get prepared to brood those chickens in your home for up to 2 months of life. So in order to have your chickens inside, you're going to need a couple things. First would be a brooder. You can get a chick brooding kit like this, or you can use something that you have on hand. A Rubbermaid container, a large cardboard box, whatever you happen to have handy. You're going to need some bedding for your chickens, so that could be shavings, it could be sand. Again, do your research and do what's going to work best in your home. If you have kiddos that have allergies to shavings, then sand is going to be the way to go. Grab yourself a kitty litter scoop and you'll be able to quickly clean up their droppings and make sure that your chickens stay healthy and that your house doesn't smell too terrible. You're also going to want to have a heat source for your chickens. So a heat lamp, any old heat lamp is going to be a great way to go, but the most important thing is going to be having a thermometer. Chickens are a little bit finicky and they need a lot of heat when you bring them home. They're going to be about 3 days old if you pick them up from Big R, and they need to have a warm area that's about 95 degrees to start. Then you can gradually decrease their heat by about 5 degrees for every week of age. Watch your birds and they're going to tell you if they're too hot or if they're too cold. If your chicks are all huddled together underneath your heat lamp, you definitely are going to want to lower that a little bit to warm them up. If they're as far away as they can be from the heat lamp and they're all panting, then you're definitely going to want to cool them down a little bit. So just pay attention to your birds. The next thing that you're going to need is a feeder and a waterer. You can get some tiny ones like what we have here, all the way up to feeders that hold 60 pounds of feed. You could also just grab this little poultry kit that kind of has everything that you need to start. It's got the heat lamp, it's got feeders, it's got waterers, and then you're good to go. The next thing to decide is what kind of chick feed you're going to want for your birds. There are so many different kinds to choose from: medicated, non-medicated, organic, conventional. So do your research and choose the kind of feed that you think makes the most sense for your flock. Before you run to the store to pick up your chicks, make sure that you do your research and figure out the type of breed that's going to work best in your location. And find out what's important to you. Do you want a friendly chicken? Do you want a chicken that's going to lay 5 eggs a week for you? Or do you need a chicken that's going to do really well in the heat or really well in the cold? Do your research, and if you need help, ask a team member at Big R and they can point you to the right breeds for where you are. Some of my personal favorite breeds that I've picked up at Big R are Orpingtons, Australorps, and Wyandottes. They are the perfect mix of friendliness, cold hardy, and great layers. When you get your chicks home, there's a couple things that you're going to want to watch for just to make sure that they stay healthy through those first couple weeks when they're most fragile. Okay. A few things to watch out for are pasty butt. Sometimes chicks get poop stuck to the butt and you just got to take a warm washcloth, gently wash it away to make sure that they are still able to poop. If it sounds silly, but that is something that can actually be life-threatening to a young chick. The other things to watch for are temperature. Again, your chicks are going to tell you if they're too hot or if they're too cold. And now probably a good time to mention adding some probiotics or some electrolytes to their water, especially for those first few weeks when they are so fragile. This is going to be really helpful in supporting their health. Around 6 to 8 weeks of age, you're going to be really tired of having baby chicks in your house and you're going to be so ready to get them outside. The signs to look for to make sure that they are ready to safely move outside is, are they fully feathered? If they still have some of that downy chick fuzz, then you do need to wait just a little bit longer. Before you move them outdoors, you want to make sure that you have a predator-safe coop and run set up for them. Again, knowing what your county regulations are is going to dictate what size coop and what size run you have. Typically, it averages about 4 square feet of indoor space and 10 square feet of outdoor space per chicken. This coop is actually built to hold 10 chickens, full-grown chickens, safely and comfortably. Another thing you may want to look at adding to your coop to make your life easier is a chicken guardian. This is a chicken door that you can actually install in any coop, whether you buy it or build it yourself. It is solar powered. It's going to open when the sun comes up to let your chickens out and close when the sun goes down to make sure that they are protected by any predators that only come out at night. We have one and it changed our life. It made it so much easier. Keeping your flock healthy outdoors, there's a few things that you're going to want to watch for. We've talked about predator proofing your coop, but sometimes the things that can harm your chickens are too small to protect them from. Lice, mites, these are common issues when you have a flock of chickens. I like to keep diatomaceous earth on hand, or DE. Anytime we clean out our coop, we always put a layer of DE on the ground and then put our shavings on top. This actually will help to keep your chickens bug free and much, much more comfortable if they happen to have lice or mites in the coop. When you move your chickens outside, they're obviously going to be bigger, they're going to be eating a lot more, drinking a lot more, so you're going to want to be prepared with a larger feeder and waterer. And right around 16 to 20 weeks of age, most of your hens are going to start laying, and at that point you're going to want to switch them off of the chick feed and onto a layer feed. If you happen to have a flock that includes ducks, turkeys, anything like that, then this is the point where you would move them to an all layer or an all flock feed. That way the nutritional needs are met for all of the different birds that you happen to have in your flock. I know that you're probably anticipating that first egg. I was, and when we got it, we cooked it up and all 5 of us shared 1 bite each. But one way that you can make sure that you're able to find that first egg when it's laid is by getting one of these little fake nest eggs. Go ahead and put this in your nesting boxes right around 15, 16 weeks of age, even before your chickens are showing signs of starting to lay. And that's just gonna help train them of where they should actually be laying their eggs so you can collect them every day. When your chickens comb, well, a different breed of chicken, most chickens have red combs. When their comb turns bright red, and whenever you go to pet them and they squat down, that's your clue that your first egg is probably only a few days away. Another thing that I would recommend, again, to make your life easier, is looking into some of the different waterers that Big R carries. We have this one that attaches to your hose so that your birds have fresh water all spring and summer long, which is so important to keeping them healthy in the heat. There's also heated waterers that you just plug in and it keeps their water thawed throughout the entire winter. Make sure you don't keep your waterers in your coop though, because the cold your chickens will survive the cold, but it's the wet that could actually hurt them and cause frostbite. So make sure you keep their water separate from the coop, and they need to always have fresh water handy, whether it's summer or winter. That is the most important thing for flock health. Right around the time that your chickens move outside is a great time to start introducing treats to your girls. So there's lots of different options. You got chicken crack, mealworms, which are my flock's absolute favorites, but you do want to make sure that your treats never amount for more than 10% of their diet. In the winter, I love to give my girls a couple handfuls of chicken scratch right before they go into the coop for the night. It just helps to warm up their bodies a little bit, but again, not more than 10% of their entire diet, or it's just not healthy for them. If you are anything like me, chickens are going to be completely addicting to you, and you're going to want to add more chicks to your flock in the next couple of years. So one thing that you want to be aware of is flock hierarchy. Chickens are kind of like the mean girls in high school. When you have a new kid come in, they tend to bully them to make sure that they know exactly where they stand in the flock. Some picking and fighting is normal, although it's always scary to see. If they take it too far and they end up pecking at each other, there's a variety of chicken first aid things that you will want to keep on hand just in case. Vetericyn is one. This kind of is our go-to. I always have a couple bottles of this handy. We use this if they have any frostbite on their combs, if they've been pecked at and they have bleeding combs or wattles. This is just kind of our go-to for everything. Another option that's good to have on hand is Pick No More. This is going to cover up their wound, and it's actually going to change it from red to blue or purple, which is going to discourage the chickens from pecking at it, causing further damage. Chickens in a healthy environment can live for easily 4 to 9 years if predators aren't an issue. So you want to make sure that your flock stays healthy and that you're committed to your chicken for the entire lifetime and not just when they happen to be a cute baby. Chickens can be a great addition to your home. They are wonderful pets. They're great for kids learning responsibility. They're just great pets to have around, and they feed you breakfast. So it's pretty much as good as it gets.